Mara from Enactus Canada. Welcome to the final reporting video tutorial. Today we're going to be going over all of the final reporting, annual reports, final impact reports for Project Accelerators, final reporting, which includes project metrics and team information, and then also I'll be taking you on to team.enactus.ca and showing you how everything works and what you'll be needing to complete for final reporting. So let's jump into it. So what reports are we talking about? The first one are the annual reports. These are similar to the challenge reports for regionals, but there's no template for these ones, and they're what you're going to give to judges at nationals. And these are due at nationals. The final impact reports are required for everyone who received a Project Accelerator, so you're reporting on all the data for your Project Accelerator, and these are due April 10th. And then everyone must complete final reporting, so this includes project metrics and all of your team's information. And this is a process by which you can report on all your data for the year. And this is due April 16th. So the purpose of final reporting. So first of all, the benefits for your Enactus team are that it allows you to track the progress of your projects. It enables you to determine if you are achieving your desired impact, and it lends credibility to your project concept, allows you to obtain more support for your projects in the future, financial or in kind. And it also allows you to track your projects over time so someone can go back and see what you did 3 years from now. And then what are the benefits for us in Enactus Canada is it provides data for our organization. Are we achieving what we set out to do? It allows us to tell our story to stakeholders, ensures accountability and transparency, and allows us to track our membership and alumni, as well as it improves fundraising for national organization and for teams. So first, the annual report. This is a mandatory report that must be typed in a legible font size and should provide an overview of your team's efforts, results, and achievements. So again, this is what you're going to give out to the judges at nationals to kind of give an overview of your team and the projects you're presenting on. So on our resource page, we have a couple of examples that you can look off and see if you're putting the right things on your annual report. And annual reports have very specific dimensions that they must be filled out in, and they can't be longer than these dimensions, and those are as follows. So you can use 4 single-size sheets of 8.5 by 11 or A4 size paper with print only on one side of the sheet. You could use 2 single sheets of 8.5 by 11 or A4 size paper with print on both sides of the sheet. Or you could use 1 sheet of 11 times 17 or A3 size paper with print on both sides. And just to note, you're not allowed to put these reports in folders or anything else, and this is all you can hand out to the judges unless you also want to hand out a team bio. Other than that, you can't give any products or anything else other than the annual report. So next, we're going to go into these final reports. So the final impact report for anyone who received a Project Accelerator is due on April 10th. And this is one final impact report per project that received a grant. And this must be completed on our online platform at team.enactus.ca. And then final reporting is going to be due on April 16th. Everyone must do this. And this includes things like project metrics, year-end team info, volunteer hours, your team contacts, your alumni contacts. And it's also to be completed on our online platform at team.enactus.ca. So, welcome to our first ever online final reporting and team management system. By now, I hope you are familiar with the system, but if not, the purpose of this online platform is to simplify the process for the users, to eliminate errors and gather consistent information, and to centralize historic team and project metrics. And the website URL for our online platform is team.enactus.ca. So now we're going to go into the Project Accelerator Final Impact Reports and do an overview of those and how to complete those. So if your team received funding from any one of our Project Accelerators, you must fill out a Final Impact Report. So if you did receive one, you need to fill out one per grant or one per project accelerator you received. Please note that these are judged by our corporate sponsors to determine the best project award. There is some monetary prizes associated with some of the best project awards, and our corporate sponsors are looking at these, so you want to make sure you're doing a really good job when you are filling them out. You want to complete this report on team.enactus.ca, include some links to your photos of your project and videos, and make sure it is submitted by April 10th. So now we're going to go through how you actually complete the final impact report. So hopefully you've logged onto the platform by now, but your team was given one login. Make sure you share it with the appropriate people, such as the project managers of the project that got the Project Accelerator, so that you can share and divide the work and not just one person is doing everything for your team. So after you log in, you want to know how to complete it. So you'll log in, and on the left side of the page on the sidebar, there'll be a little tab under projects that says View Accelerator Applications. You're going to click that, and then you're going to see the project accelerators you filled out. And then you're going to want to go in and double click the name of the project accelerator that you received funding for. So once you double click and that opens, you're going to see that there's now additional questions that you must fill out. So there's a section called Final Report, Project Outcomes, Final Report Impact Metrics, and Final Report Accelerator Feedback. And then the last section you must fill out is Final Report Enactus Team Advisors Feedback. So once you open it up and you see this, you're going to want to actually go in and edit and answer those questions. So under the name of your project accelerator, right on the screen where it says Mara, you're going to click the edit button underneath 2 times, and then it will open up and you'll be able to complete those questions. So kind of an overview of what those questions will be asking you is, if you're presenting this project at nationals, did you use all the money that you received from your project accelerator? How many people were impacted by your project, and then giving some feedback on your team advisor if you did get a team advisor. So now we're going to go into final reporting. Final reporting applies to everyone, so make sure you pay attention in this section and know how to fill this out. So there's many tasks that need to be completed for final reporting. So first, you're going to want to add your projects if they aren't already added as projects on team.enactus.ca. This includes projects on the incubation phase or projects that are been developed and part of your team for a long time. So all types of projects your team are working on need to be uploaded, even if they don't have impact metrics. Next, you're going to be able to do the project metrics for each of your team projects. You're going to make sure your team contacts are up to date, your alumni contacts are up to date, everyone on your team has completed their volunteer hours, and then you're going to want to also make sure you complete the year-end team info section. So teams can create a variety of different projects. So we have 3 main types of projects that teams can have. So the first one is a strategic project. So this serves a strategic purpose, whether that's raising funds, engaging new team members, generating awareness for the team, and this is usually done like internally within your school or within your team. The next type of project is a community project. So this is similar to a social enterprise, but the key difference is that it does not operate as a business, but rather as a program. The project addresses a need through education-based activities such as workshops and seminars. And then lastly, a social enterprise is the third type of project, and this is a business that operates to tackle a social problem. The viable social business model provides an empowering solution, creating long-lasting change and life-changing impact due to its built-in sustainability. The project generates its own funds and thus does not depend on external parties to keep it running. So if you have any questions about which type of project your team is running or you're not quite sure, make sure you ask your project manager so they can help you decide which project your team is competing. And all types of projects are super important, and it's good to have a range of different projects on your team. Next, we're going to go through impact definitions. So in the past and last year, we had more impact definitions than we have now. And this year, we've just condensed it down to 2 impact definitions, direct and indirect impact. So direct impact is the number of individuals that you have directly worked with who have gained new knowledge, skills, and or resources, and who have been able to apply them as a direct result of the project. Indirect impact is the number of people who have gained knowledge, resources, and or skills as a result of an Enactus project, but with whom the team did not work with directly. So an example of this would be if your team created an app. Let's say your team trained 3 people to create a food app. You would have directly impacted those 3 people you trained to create the app. And then everyone who was using the app, who is a user of the app, would be indirectly impacted because you are not physically working with them. You're working with them through the app. So if you have any questions about whether your team has directly or indirectly impacted somebody, ask your program manager because they'll be able to help you. And then when filling out your final reporting, your project manager may ask you, where is this number from? Where is this number from? Just to make sure that you've put your numbers in the right sections and you're reporting direct and indirect impact correctly. And on another note, both direct and indirect impact are both super important and they're equally weighted, so one's not better than the other. So just try to remember that when also filling it out. So when going to fill out your final reporting, you want to log into the system first, and same again, you want to make sure you're sharing this platform, log in with people you trust, such as your project managers, whoever is working on that project, so it's easy to fill out the final reporting and everyone can equally share the work. So the first thing you want to do is make sure everyone on your team has been added as a contact. So all the students, alumni, and faculty on your team should be recorded in the contact section, and this must match your annual report. So if you're saying you had 100 people on your team this year, then on team.enactus.ca you have to have 100 contacts. So make sure that's matching. And then all members should be added as contacts. All volunteer hours per member should be tracked. Include all students who've completed 10 hours or more since May. So anyone on your team should be included as a contact, even if they've gone on co-op, if they no longer on the team, if they were only on the team for 1 semester, anyone at all who's been on the team throughout the year needs to be added as a contact. And then after that, make sure all your alumni are added on there too. So any Enactus students who have graduated or any alumni that used to go to your school that your team works with. And then next, volunteer hours. So each team member will be independently in charge of logging the time they spent on Enactus each month, and then student leaders are in charge of approving it. So make sure this link with the volunteer hour URL is pinned in your Facebook chat, your Basecamp chat, your Slack thread, so that everyone on your team has it and is responsible for their own hours. This also must match your annual report and your nationals presentation. So if you're saying your team worked 100,000 hours this year, you need to make sure that all the volunteer hours add up to 100,000. So if someone on your team has not been filling out their volunteer hours throughout the year, you can get them to come in and use this link and go in, and then they could fill out all their volunteer hours for 1 month. So if they work 10 hours a month every month, they could just fill out for May the total amount of hours they've done the whole year. So it's a lot faster and easier. Next, you want to make sure you complete the year-end team info. So on the left-hand sidebar, there'll be a little thing that says create year-end team info. So this is kind of general team questions such as revenue generation and your social media URLs. So this is what it's gonna, So it's pretty quick. It will take you like 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Next, you're going to make sure all of your projects are created in the system. So each project will have a separate profile, which can be reused the following year if this project is still running. And in order to create your project metrics, your project must be inputted before. So make sure you do that, and make sure you put all projects regardless of the stage the project is in. So projects from ideation to projects that have been running for multiple years all need to be added. Once that is done, you can finally get to the main reporting section, which is the Create Project Metrics. You need to create one of these pages or one project metrics per project that you're running. And to submit this, once you're done, there'll be a question that says workflow status, and you want to change that to pending review. Your program manager will then approve or reject your project metrics. If they reject it because that means something was wrong on it, they'll just tell you what you need to fix, and then you can resubmit it. Now let's just go over a quick recap of what we talked about, and then we'll actually go on the platform and I will show you how to do everything. So make sure you submit both reports on time. This is super critical. So the final impact report is due on April 10th, and the final impact metrics are due April 16th. Make sure you're splitting the workload within your team. It's a lot for one person, and you want to make sure that it's not just falling on one person to do everything. Anything included in your annual report and nationals presentation needs to be reflected on team.enactus.ca. So if you're saying you have 100,000 volunteer hours in your annual report, the volunteer hours need to match. Same with your project metrics, they need to be the same. After the final metrics are due, you could also have some additional impact that comes through in that month between when the report's due and when nationals is happening. So you are able to update the report for nationals and change those numbers. Just make sure you're telling your program manager that those numbers are changing and you are updating it. Remember that corporate partners will be reading your report, so do a good job. And then reporting is based on nationals to nationals. So anything that happened before nationals last year, you are not allowed to report on. This is a new online system, so please be patient with the system and us. If you're having any difficulties or technological problems, please contact your program manager so they can help you. If you send them a screenshot of the issue or errors you're encountering when completing, they'll be able to help you a lot more easily. And start this early to avoid stress with last-minute technology problems. So all the pages have descriptions and stuff you can start filling out now, and you can save it so that you can just go in and update the actual numbers, and everything else will already be done, so you don't need to be stressing last minute. And this video, and then we also have a cheat sheet PowerPoint that will be found in the Enactus Canada resource page that you can use as aids when completing final reporting, so you make sure you don't miss anything. So that's it for going through kind of the overview of both, but now I'll take you to the website and we can go over everything again. So first of all, you want to kind of open your browser and go to team.enactus.ca and log in to the account. We're going to first go over the final impact reports. So once you're in your account, you're going to want to click Projects, and then you're going to scroll down and click View Accelerator Applications. And then you'll be able to see all the accelerator applications you did, and then you're going to double click the one you want to create an final impact report for. And that will open up, and you'll be able to see that there is a bunch of new questions. You'll go to the top and you'll click Edit, and then you can scroll down and start filling out the ones that are labeled Final Report. Final Report. Final Report. It's 4 sections, so fill those out and you can click Save, so you can come back to edit it if you don't want to do it all at once. And then once you're done filling out all of those new sections, you're going to want to scroll to the top and change the workflow status from application submitted to final report submitted. And then your program manager will accept that report. So after that, now you're going to start doing your final metric reporting. So first of all, you want to make sure all your contacts are added. If people are missing from your team, you want to make sure you create them in the system. So go in and click create contact and add anyone in your team who's missing, add your alumni. And then after that, you're going to want to create projects and make sure all your projects are added in the system. So this is what the create project section looks like. And you can put what phase your project's in. You can save that. And this is super important because it needs to be done to actually create the project metrics. So once you've done this for all of your projects, you can then go in and click create project metrics. It's super important that you create the project first because you're actually going to be linking it here. So you can search up your project name and it will come in to this little box and it will match. So that's why you need to create the project first. And then you're going to start filling this out with all the information about your project. And you're required to do one of these per project. So start filling it out, answering all the questions. You can save it so you can come back and work on it at different times. And then once it's done, you're going to want to scroll to the top and change the workflow status to pending review. And the last thing you want to do for your year-end reporting is create year-end team info. That's just a few sections. So it's questions like, do you offer an Enactus course? Do you have a business advisory board? How much revenue has your team made? And then just your team's social media URLs, and then save it. And then the last thing related to final reporting is volunteer hours. So you're going to want to go in and click view volunteer reports. And then you're going to be able to select all and approve all your members' hours they've inputted for the year. So that's pretty much it for final reporting and final impact reports. If you have any questions at all or you're confused, make sure you reach out to your program manager at Enactus Canada. They can help you and answer any questions you have. And make sure to use this video and our final reporting PowerPoint kind of cheat sheet or aid when you are doing these final reports to make sure you're not missing anything. Thank you for watching.